Hey everyone, welcome. So, if you've ever been setting up a server, everything seems fine, and then bam, permission denied, and you find out SELinux is the culprit? Yeah, we've all been there. But here's the thing, instead of fighting it, we're going to learn to see it for what it really is, a super powerful, kind of secret security guard for your server. All right, let's get into it. So here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll talk about why SELinux even exists, what problem it's trying to solve. Then we'll get into its main idea, this thing called Mac, and the 3 modes you'll be using all the time. After that, we'll learn its special language, these things called contexts, and then we'll put it all together with a real-world troubleshooting guide. And we'll finish up with the one golden rule you've got to remember. All right, first up, let's talk about creating a second line of defense. This is all about challenging how we've traditionally thought about Linux security.
I want you to really think about this for a second. What happens after an attacker gets root? I mean, in most setups, getting root is basically game over, right? The attacker has the keys to the entire kingdom. But what if it wasn't? What if even the all-powerful root user had a set of rules they still had to follow? Well, that's the exact problem SELinux was built to solve.
And this really is a fundamental shift in how we think about security. See, traditional Linux uses something called discretionary access control, or DAC. Just think of it like this. If you own a file, you have the discretion to decide who gets to see it. It's your call. But SELinux, it just throws that whole idea out the window. It uses mandatory access control, or MAC. In this world, there's one central policy, like a system-wide rulebook, and it makes every single decision. Nobody, not even root, gets to ignore it. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into that core concept, mandatory access control. It's really about bringing in a brand new, much stricter set of rules that apply to literally everyone and everything on the system. So here's the textbook definition. MAC is a kernel-level security mechanism that enforces system-wide policies. The whole point is to restrict even the root user, to stop something called privilege escalation. But what does that actually mean? Look, it's a security model baked right into the Linux kernel. Its number one job is to stop a bad situation from getting worse. So let's say a web server process gets compromised. Normally, that's bad news. But with SELinux, a policy can step in and say, nope, you're a web server, you have no business trying to read private SSH keys or mess with system files. It contains the damage. Okay, so the theory is cool and all, but how do we actually use this thing? Well, SELinux has 3 main operating modes you absolutely have to know. You can think of them as on, audit mode, or just off. Let's break these down because this is super important. First, you have enforcing mode. This is what you want in production. It actively blocks anything that violates the policy and it logs what it did. Then you have permissive mode. This is going to be your best friend for troubleshooting, I promise. It doesn't actually block anything, but, and this is the key, it logs every single thing it would have blocked. It's like a security guard that follows a suspect around, taking notes on everything they do wrong, but doesn't actually tackle them. And finally, there's disabled, which, yeah, we just don't do that. It completely turns off this amazing security layer. So first things first, how do you even know what mode your system is in? Super simple. Just pop open your terminal and type git enforce. That's it. This should always be your first step in any SELinux puzzle. It'll tell you right away if you're in enforcing or permissive. And what if you need to switch? You can do it right on the fly. Set enforce 0, that's a 0, puts you into that helpful permissive mode. And set enforce 1 will switch you right back to enforcing. Now remember, this is totally temporary. The second you reboot, it's going to go back to whatever is in the config file. And that's actually perfect, right? It lets you debug without making a permanent and maybe risky change. Okay, now we're getting to the real heart of how SELinux thinks. We're talking about contexts. The best way to think about them is as security labels. They're attached to literally every single thing on your system, every file, every process, every network port. This is the language that SELinux speaks. And you can actually see these labels for yourself. Just run your normal ls command, but add a capital -Z to it. And look at that. Right next to the familiar file permissions, you've got this whole extra string of text. That's it. That entire thing, from user_u all the way to S0, that's the SELinux context for that file. So what is all that stuff? Well, let's break it down. It has 4 parts: a user, a role, a type, and something called sensitivity. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. For 99% of the day-to-day stuff you'll be doing, the only part that really matters is the third one, the type. In our example, that's user_home t. This type label is everything. It's what the SELinux policy uses to write all its rules. Rules like a process with the type HTTPT is allowed to read a file with the type HTTPD syscontent. It's all about matching up the types.
Okay, let's put all this theory into practice. Imagine this. You've just set up a new web server. You're trying to view a page and you get that dreaded permission denied. You check Gmod, you check the file owners, everything looks perfect. So what do you do now? Here is the exact workflow to follow.
Step 1, make sure you can reliably make the error happen again. Step 2, check the audit logs. Use a command like ausearch to look specifically for SELinux denials. The logs will tell you what's wrong. Step 3, temporarily switch to permissive mode with setEnforce 0. Step 4, try the action again. Does it work now? If it does, boom, you've just confirmed 100% that SELinux is the cause. And finally, and this is the most critical part, switch back to enforcing and fix the problem the right way. This almost always means fixing a broken security context, not, and I repeat, not just leaving SELinux in permissive mode or turning it off. And all of this really leads us to the final, most important takeaway of the day. This is about changing your whole mindset and turning this tool from something you fight into a powerful ally. It really all boils down to a few simple rules. Do, keep SELinux in enforcing mode on your production systems. Do, use permissive mode as your #1 debugging tool. And do, check those contexts with ls.z whenever something seems weird. And on the other side, please, just don't disable it. Don't assume chmob is the answer to everything, and for the love of all that is good, don't ignore the audit logs. They are literally trying to hand you the solution on a silver platter. Look, if you only remember one single thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. SELinux is your friend. It is not your enemy. It's an incredibly advanced security system that is working for you, catching problems that old-school permissions would completely miss. As soon as you learn to speak its language, it becomes one of the most valuable tools in your entire toolkit.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. The next time you're spinning up a server or a new project, remember that an attacker getting root doesn't have to mean game over. Now that you know its purpose, how are you going to use SELinux rules and context to harden your system and contain a potential disaster before it even happens? Thanks for joining me.